Some people don't deserve their titles. Some people are labeled as a certain relation to you when they didn't earn it, or they shouldn't have it, or it's painful to think that they have it. I'm going to say only once in this video who this person is. And after that, they're going to be, we'll call them parental unit. My father. That was hard to say. That was hard to say. Yeah, so I'm not going to say that one again. Just so that everyone knows and isn't confused the whole way. I wonder if that's who she's talking about. Let's just get that out of the way. I found out a few weeks ago that he had terminal cancer and that it had reached his brain and that he had very little time to go. So my initial response was a blink and then, and then relief. Just like, finally. I nearly lost it. Not in a bad sense, but in the sense of being so relieved that I was thanking God that I don't even believe in anymore, or that I don't know if I believe in it anymore, for the fact that he was dying. And why? Because he is the source of my post-traumatic stress, my complex post-traumatic stress, my dissociative disorders. He is the reason. He was, because he did pass away since, about 2 weeks ago. So he was the source of a lot of pain. And he still is. But this video is going to be for those who might be going through the same thing, who will be going through the same thing, or who have and want someone to relate to. So the reason why I'm making this video is because I want to be able to answer some questions I put out a few weeks ago saying that anyone could ask me anything for this video and that I will answer from the perspective of someone that is going through it. What it was like for me, what I felt. So I'm not going to read all the questions, but I'm just going to answer them and have it like a composite. And so I'm going to start by saying, yeah, I was pretty relieved. It was a mix of things, honestly. I was at first incredibly relieved to near tears, near tears. And then after about a day, there was a lot of PTSD and dissociating. I was, like, I would see him sitting on the couch. I would see the childhood dog run by, like things from when I was growing up in my house. And it was things that were associated with traumatic events. So I thought, I'm finally free. Like, at first I thought, I'm finally free. It's finally over. It's over. It's over. Thank you. Thank you. It's over. Thank you. But then it was just like terror, because it felt like maybe my mind thought, okay, now it's safe. He's dying. So I felt like terror and fear at the thought that maybe it wasn't true. What if he's not dying? So there was all these fears in my head, like what if I have to go to the funeral to see his dead body just so that I can make peace with the fact that he's gone? And really, there wasn't a funeral anyways. Some people don't get those. I'm gonna let that one last for a while. So he did pass away, and when he did, well, actually, beforehand, I was starting to level out in terms of how I was coping. And when he passed, I was indifferent. I was like, okay, there you go, that's done. And so it was kind of like a roller coaster a little bit in terms of how I first reacted, how I started freaking out without realizing that I was going to, like, with the subconscious thing, that with the PTSD and the just seeing things and being terrified and having flashbacks and having all kinds of like spaciness and getting weird in the head. And it was just like so intense, but I couldn't understand why, because I thought I was happy. Not exactly happy, but relieved, like enormously relieved. Just like, thank goodness, like, we get to be safe now. Like, my family gets to be safe now. But honestly, it was a roller coaster. It was up and down and up and down. And honestly too much. So, but then by the time that I found out that he was gone, it was just like, okay, there you go. And then, I mean, the most concern that I had was for my brother, my older brother, who was still in contact with him. So I worried about how he would take it, how he was taking it. So I was concerned about him. And in terms of whether because I'm answering questions at the same time that were asked for this video, I didn't initially feel resentment about it, that he was mourning him, that he was sad about it. I thought, well, that's really sad that he's sad, and I feel compassion for him. And then there was like this little twinge of like, but you know what he did to me kind of feeling. You know what he did to me and you're grieving him. And I started feeling like a little bit hurt. I felt hurt. I wasn't angry. I was, I swear I turned the volume off on that. I felt a little bit betrayed in the sense of, I'm your sister. You know what he did? So, but at the same time, I can't blame him. He needed a father. I needed a father. Everyone, all of us kids, we were 5 kids, we needed a father. So it's only normal for him to have sought that and to help hold on to that with as much as he could. It's only normal. It's human. So from one side, I was like compassionate. From one side, I was a little bit resentful. And from another, I was like very understanding. You know what? I would have liked to have a father too. So, hey, good thing you did. It's just like, it's, you know, for those who mourn it, I mean, I feel like this man didn't deserve it. But if they felt a connection to him, then that's real and that's their right to grieve. Because they felt those emotions and they're losing someone that they felt was worth those emotions. Or maybe they didn't even feel he was worth those emotions, but they're still feeling it. So, like, you know, feelings are complicated. So the damage done can't be fixed. It's done. It's gone. Are we able to let go of when something was that intense and that we have to keep living when this person died? So it's complicated because, yes, we have to move on. Otherwise, it's like we don't have to move on. Everyone has their own aspect of that. But the thing is that if you hold on to it and you keep holding on to it after they're dead, it's like they hold power of you. I really don't want to give anyone, like especially someone that was that corrupt, a power over me for not only the rest of their lives, but the rest of mine. So I don't think so. But at the same time, how do we let go? It's not easy, because even if we're ready to let go, like say after I found out that said person was dying, and I thought, yes, but then my mind thought it was freaking out. So it wasn't letting go. Or maybe it was, in a sense, letting go of the trauma, but maybe that was how it was dealing with it. So I don't know. So it's hard to let go, and sometimes we have the intention to let go, but we don't necessarily do it because our minds or our trauma isn't ready, because it's stored in all kinds of ways. It's compartmentalized. It's not easy to just get rid of. So how do we do it? It's not easy. We take care of ourselves. We do what we need to do to get there. What this means for my healing, I think, is that I have a chance to move forward in a different way. So before, I was moving forward in a world where he existed, where I felt intimidated, where I was like, what if he ever comes to Quebec? What if he's ever here? What if, you know, what if? And it was always that fear. And it wasn't over. Like, it was always like this kind of like a need to have justice, to say, hey, you know, this man, he could go to jail or something. Why don't I just put him in jail? Why don't I put him in jail? And now that part of me can just rest. And I can stop thinking about putting him away or making him pay or imagining all kinds of scenarios. So I can let that go, and I can focus on myself and on my diagnostics that have arisen from the trauma that occurred, the dissociation, the post-traumatic stress. So now I can finally deal with it. I can move on, and I can actually focus on that properly without being divided in all kinds of ways. So I find that that's actually positive. Yes. If there's part of me that mourns his passing, I have some books, wood cover, like wood plaques with school notes in them where he did drawings when he was a teenager. And those books, I have them still. I had them since I was a teenager. And I thought that was the only father I would have ever had, and he was there before I was born, so I never met my father in a way. So I told myself that the boy who drew those pictures of this bear and who did these school notes and who put these things in a careful little, that person was uncorrupted at that time. I felt him, like at least I told myself. And I thought, you know what, maybe this is my father. And I told myself that, part of me mourns that person. Part of me mourns that little boy who drew those pictures that I have, the documents of. But I don't miss him. I don't mourn him. Or I sympathize with those who mourn. But I do not mourn. I've been asked how the relief has impacted my DID symptoms. DID being Dissociative Identity Disorder. So it's a mix, pretty much. Well, I think that we all feel differently about what's going on, and there's a lot of fears, like, what if it's not really over? Are we really safe? Like, I hear talking about, like, whether we're really safe, about, like, where are we going from here? Is it really okay? And then I think that everyone's processing things in a different way. So I think that while some of us are experiencing relief, others are experiencing other emotions, and it's kind of conflicting. So it gets overwhelming. I think it's the thing, if we were singlets or a singlet, if I was a singlet, then this would be a different form of grieving. Like, it would be less conflicting, although everyone has compartmentalizing of their self in a sense. Like, they can feel a varied way about one thing. Of course, it's normal. But with DID, you might feel a little more amplified because everyone has it more compartmentalized, more walls between it, and more individual. So there's that difference. So it's been very difficult in terms of trying to process it, because everyone's processing the same thing at a different time in their own ways with their own perspectives. So it's pretty exhausting. Yeah. The next question regarding that was how I'm preparing for any upcoming PTSD episodes. So I'm thinking that I had it in terms of my PTSD episode effect, although there may well be more coming. I think that the impact of it was a few weeks ago, so I think that I did experience that when I heard that he was passing away. And then when he died, it was kind of like, I'm not sure, I don't even think I had another PTSD or dissociative episode after he actually passed away. I had a lot of varying feelings, questions in my head, is he really dead? But obviously, healing is a journey. There's always more, but the initial brunt of it, I think, is done. But there's still more work to be done. I don't necessarily feel that karma got him. I think that if karma had gotten him, like, it would have been worse than brain cancer, or like cancer that spread to his brain. And do I worry that he would have suffered? I don't think so. I think that he didn't go in a way that was sufferable. But like, if he had, I think that I would have actually felt sad about it. I would have been concerned. I would have felt bad. I would have, like, because I worry about everyone. I didn't hate this man. I didn't hate him. I felt strongly about him and the way that he impacted my life, but I didn't hate him. So in any case, I don't really think that he was caught by karma. Everyone dies at some point. Unfortunately, no matter who you are, it happens. So it's just the course of life, I suppose. In terms of the what ifs, what if he hadn't been abusive? What if he had been a good guy? What if I had grown up with a great father? Well, the thing that I did when I found out he was dying, and apparently it was too late for me to actually give a proper message, but what I did was, because he couldn't take a phone call, he was too far gone by the time I found out. I don't know why I found out so late, but by the time I did, he couldn't take a phone call. So I sent an audio message and I said, thank you. Thank you for all the good things you have ever done for me. Thank you for teaching me to love animals, to respect nature, to love God's creation. Thank you. And I mentioned something about how one time when I was sick and I didn't feel like eating anything else, he got me some chocolate bars because that was all I felt like eating. I thanked him for a few things and I said, thank you. And I hope that it's not too late that you can hear this message. And I ended it and sent the message, but they don't know if he heard. So